Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling a topic that's super relevant to, well, pretty much everyone. How tech and communication are messing with our brains. Are we really as connected as we think we are? We've got some really interesting stuff to unpack today, thanks to a listener who sent in this awesome conversation between, we'll call them UD, and a really advanced AI chatbot.
Oh, wow, this is right up my alley. AI and how we connect, or maybe don't connect, is something I think about a lot. So what's got UD fired up about this AI?
Well, they're getting at this idea that all this tech, all these ways to connect, it might actually be making us more isolated. And, it's funny because when you think about it, you'd think more ways to chat, more social media would mean we're closer than ever, right?
Yeah, you'd assume so, wouldn't you? But it's a question a lot of researchers are grappling with. And honestly, it's a tough one. It's like our brains haven't quite caught up with the pace of technology. Like
Yeah.
we're running on an older operating system trying to keep up with the latest social media update.
Okay, I love that analogy. So unpack that a little. What's actually happening in our brains when we're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, just constantly bombarded with everyone else's seemingly perfect lives?
Well, one thing UD really hones in on is this idea that social media fuels this constant comparison game.
Mm.
Think about it.
Mm.
It's everyone's highlight reel, the amazing vacations, the dream jobs, the perfect families. And even though logically we know that's not the whole picture, it's hard not to look at that and then look at our own, messy real lives and feel like, am I doing something wrong?
Oh my gosh, yes. I swear I'll be perfectly content not planning a big trip, and then bam, everyone and their dog is posting pics from the Bahamas, and I'm like, wait, am I missing out on something?
That right there.
Yeah.
That's FOMO in action, the fear of missing out. And it's like our poor little brains haven't quite evolved to realize that what we're seeing on social media isn't real life. It's a curated, edited, often filtered version of it. And so we get caught in this cycle of comparison. Maybe a little envy creeps in, and this feeling that we should always be doing more, being more, experiencing more.
And UD even pulls out some pretty startling stats about this. Like they mention that rates of depression, loneliness, even suicide have been on the rise, and it's all happening alongside this social media boom. Is there really a direct connection there, or is that too simplistic?
You know, it's complicated, but the research definitely suggests a strong correlation. And it goes even deeper than just comparing ourselves to others, right? Like, think about how social media encourages these really superficial interactions. We might have hundreds of Facebook friends or Instagram followers, but how many of those connections are actually giving us that deep, meaningful connection that humans crave? The kind where you feel truly seen and understood.
Right, it's like we've traded quality for quantity when it comes to relationship. And maybe, just maybe, that's part of the problem here.
And what's interesting? UD doesn't just point out the problem. They actually start to dig into some potential solutions too, which is pretty cool.
And that's what I love about this conversation. It's not just a complaint fest. It's like, okay, so what do we do about this? And one of the things UD brings up is this idea of echo chambers. But get this, they say it goes way beyond just the internet. They link it to our tribal tendencies as humans, which I thought was super fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. That's spot on. It all goes back to, like, our evolutionary history. Way back when, caveman days, sticking with your little group that was essential for survival, right? Shared resources, protection, a better chance of not getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. It all makes sense.
Yeah, safety in numbers, right? There's a reason that's always been a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The world has changed a lot since the Stone Age, but our brains, well, not so much. We're still hardwired with those tribal instincts. But now, instead of protecting us from predators, they might actually be making us less open to different opinions, less tolerant of people who see the world differently than we do.
So instead of banding together against saber-toothed tigers, we're doing it over like political parties or which brand of oat milk is better. It's like our survival instincts got a software update, but maybe not the kind that's always helpful.
And what's kind of crazy is that technology, I mean, for all the good it can do for connecting us, it might actually be making this whole echo chamber thing even worse.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's never been easier to just surround yourself with the same opinions, the same news, everything confirming what you already think.
It's like that saying, you are what you eat, but for our minds. If we're only feeding ourselves the same info, is it any wonder we get, more and more stuck in our ways?
Exactly. And this is where I think UD's perspective gets really interesting. They're like, hold on, this isn't just a tech problem, it's a human problem.
Yeah.
They talk about bringing, get this, discipline to how we handle all this digital stuff.
Okay, discipline and technology, those don't usually go together in my mind. Usually I'm like, oh, technology, make my life easier, less discipline, please.
It's true. But that kind of gets to the heart of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like if we're not careful, tech becomes this crutch, this way to avoid anything uncomfortable or like actually having to think hard or talk to someone who disagrees with us.
Yes.
Easier to just scroll through our little curated
Yeah,
feeds, right?
totally. So what does that discipline actually look like? How do we break out of the echo chambers and actually, connect with the world, with each other in a way that feels, I don't know, more real?
Well, UDI actually gets pretty practical here, and I appreciate that they're like, look, this isn't always easy. They talk about really making an effort to seek out different viewpoints, even if it feels a little uncomfortable.
Which, let's be honest, it often does. Our brains love that feeling of being right?
Yeah.
Confirmation bias is a powerful drug. So yeah, choosing to see different perspectives, especially the ones that challenge our own, it's like, do I have to?
Totally. Like going to the gym, but for your mind, right? It might not always be fun while you're doing it, but it makes you stronger, more flexible, able to handle more. In this case, you're strengthening your critical thinking, maybe your empathy, all that good stuff that helps us connect better.
I like that, the mental gym. So it's not about just shutting down anyone who disagrees, trying to force this like fake harmony.
No, not at all. The way UD talks about it's more like a process, you know, like personal growth, trying to be better, and honestly, trying to build a better world where people can actually talk about different ideas without, like, losing their minds. It's about realizing that discomfort, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it can also be where we learn the most.
Okay, so lean into the discomfort. Got it. What else can we do to like build those good habits, that digital discipline UD is talking about?
Well, they also talk about this funny little chicken or the egg situation they had.
Oh, right. This is where they get into scheduling, right? Like, did making a schedule make them more disciplined, or was it the other way around?
Yep. They found that once they brought in a little structure, it kind of naturally opened up space for the stuff they really valued. Like focused work, actually connecting with people in their life, and even just giving themselves permission to, like, shut off and recharge.
So wait, you're saying sometimes a little bit of structure can actually be like freeing? That if you set those boundaries, those time blocks for certain things, it lets you actually focus on what matters without your brain going in a million directions at once.
Yeah, like that, right. And UD even says it wasn't about, like, this super rigid schedule, more like creating containers in their day. This is for deep work. This is for actually talking to my family. This is for just, like, existing without looking at a screen.
That makes a lot of sense. Instead of letting our phones and laptops run the show, we're like, nope, this is my time. I get to decide.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, there's actual science to back this up. Studies show that even short breaks from tech, especially social media, can seriously help your well-being. Your brain gets to chill out, you're less stressed, and some people even find they're more creative and productive afterward.
So it's not about becoming like those people who live in the woods with no internet, just finding a better balance, where tech makes your life better, not just crazier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which looks different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Some people might set time limits on their apps or have no phone zones in their house, whatever works. Others, it's more about paying attention to how they feel when they are online. Am I actually enjoying this? Or am I just feeling kind of drained and crappy?
Like tuning into your own internal warning system. This app makes me feel good. This one makes me feel like I suck. And then actually doing something about it.
Exactly. If it's not serving you, unfollow, unsubscribe, whatever you got to do. You are the boss of your own digital life, Don't forget that.
Such a good point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like the one big thing you hope our listeners take away from all this?
I think UD's story shows us we're all kind of figuring this out as we go. There's no magic answer.
Yeah.
But the more aware we are, the more intentional we are, even a little discipline. Like I said, that's how we use tech for good,
Yeah.
and create a world, both online and off, where we're actually connecting, understanding each other, all that good stuff.
Love it. That's a great note to end on. Huge thanks to you for sharing all your expertise today. It's been awesome. And to our listener, thank you for sending in this amazing conversation. It really got us thinking. We hope this has given everyone some food for thought, maybe some stuff to try out in your own life. That's all for today's deep dive. We'll catch you next time.